Hardin County. It's October 24th, and it's Thursday. We had a commissioners meeting, and kind of a few things happened today. They so Judy Tudor, I think is her name. She moved for JFS. Amber Cronley took her place, and I think this is just a formality that she was appointed to the HHWP board. That's the Hancock, Hardin, Wyandotte, Putnam County Community Action Group for the transportation, like CATS transportation and such. And so she was appointed to that. They got pay increases. They had a hiring paper. That's all they said, a hiring paper. They did a resolution to move some of the Hardin Hills things over to the museum. They did approve the sheriff getting the ARPA money for his trailer. They paid some bills, released some funds. They signed a contract. So how the farming works for the land there out on Jones Road is that they sign a contract and then they have an option to do 2 additional years. And so they were signing that today. Something about Grimslid was unable to make the meeting with Elizabeth. The other judges can be there, but he could not. Chelsea did talk to the Corsa Insurance. So we had the ARPA money bought all these Marks radios for all the schools and all the county buildings and all the things. And they have towers at each of the school locations. We talked about it last week as far as they were wondering, like, what are they going to do with insurance because it's county-owned property, but it's at the school buildings. And Corsa said it was the first time that anybody has contacted Corsa as far as how to insure these things and the proper way to do it. And so they're going to make them mobile equipment so that they'll be covered underneath the county insurance, but they don't have to bring all the schools and do all that paperwork, side of it. So I mean, that's a good thing. Fred Rush went to the health board meeting yesterday, and then the HHWP meeting yesterday also. I think they went ahead. I don't know if they approved it today or they were just talking about it. I can't remember. But the treasurer had come in and asked about their HVAC unit. So this is kind of interesting. Richard got a quote from somebody for $18,000, and it's to put a hole in the wall so that they can join up with the auditor's mini split system, right? So so you can run the lines together. So they're going to put a new mini split unit on the roof and then run the lines over to the treasurer's office and get them 2 new units to get rid of that HVAC system that's in their office. It's horrible. So he got a quote for $18,300 to do this, which as a customer and somebody who works, somebody who would work in there, absolutely, I thought it was a good deal. But Roger said no, that he wanted to get another quote. I'm not sure who the quote was from, but he wanted to go back and talk to Wable and see about them getting a quote. And so I know we use Wable a lot. And so it's sort of like, well, do we have, and you don't have to get, it's under $75,000. And so you don't have to get a bid for it, but definitely makes it look like we have preferential treatment for Wable. So anyways, the Kenton City administration, Lynn and Cindy, came in today. They didn't have a ton of updates. I mean, they're putting the concrete down on the one side of the courthouse, and they're hoping still to be done by November 26th for the Christmas parade. They're trying really hard to get that done. The weather has been cooperating, so that's good. They're finally tearing out 101 Smokehouse. They're down in the basement. They talked a little bit about history there, which was pretty cool. The city police department wanted to get a couple office chairs from Hardin Hills. And that was a big hubbub as far as, getting paperwork and being able to transfer those over, which you know, I don't know that side of it, but they have to get a resolution to get a couple office chairs because you're moving it from county to the city. So seems like a big hassle, but over probably chairs that, I don't know, you can get $25 for. I don't know. Kind of silly, but they had a records commission meeting, which they do those in April and October of every year. And it's so Brenda Rainsberg from the recorder's office, Stephanie Epling from clerk of courts, Mike Bacon, the auditor, Katie Henson from the prosecutor's office, was there with the three commissioners. They basically, it's when they had RC3, you know, which is disposal of records, and they have these films they fill out, they pass them around, they look at them for a few seconds. You know, Stephanie did catch that one of the papers wasn't signed, and so they were going to get that signed. And there was a little question on the RC2, which I don't know, you'll have to look at what that is, that Mike Bacon brought up that wasn't, the changes weren't actually approved at the state level. They approved them at the county level. So there was some question that we're going to have to go back and look at those. And, you know, but it's like getting rid of personnel records. So like if somebody had worked, you know, in the years past, you have to keep them for so long, and then you can purge those records and whatnot. So nothing too major. Oh, so Hardin Hills had a representative there. So Hardin Hills disposed of records, the treasurer's office, the auditor's office, sheriff, and veteran services. Now they did say the auditor and the veteran service, they try to keep their records pretty cleaned up, so they, you know, didn't have like huge time spans of where they were cleaning things up. And so that was something I thought was noteworthy. And then lastly, they had Nicole Mustain came in, and, you know, really interesting conversation when you think about a whole county type of situation, maybe a holistic view of the county, where the commissioners try not to take anything on that's, you know, not very specifically their job, right? And so there's this whole idea of, you know, pushing things out of their office. And so you can kind of see that play out. So what she was saying is that she had a stray cat. She didn't want it, and so she was trying to find resources to find help for this. And if anybody's involved at all in kind of the animal side of our county, you realize there aren't really a lot of resources. Wyandotte County Humane Society gets a lot of our cats, our spay and neuter cats, which they have a great program over there. But what I didn't realize that she had found out is that 6,300 animals, most of them come from Hardin County, are cats since 2015. So that's like $750,000 that Wyandotte Humane Society is taking on for Hardin County, which is really just incredible. You know, she talked about the Humane Society, that they don't have like a humane agent or somebody who kind of does it. They do, our Humane Society basically, which is a private entity, right? So it's not government. They do setups for spay and neuters and a food pantry. Aside from that, they don't take on any animals or do any of those kinds of things, which I think has changed from over the years. I mean, I think in the past maybe they did. I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot of talk about the dog warden, and Nicole was saying, you know, this isn't about dogs. And so then the commissioners got really confused about, you know, that they don't have any control over the cats. They only have the dogs, and they didn't really understand why this was their problem or their concern. I think Nicole tried to do a good job as far as explaining that when you have cat problems in your county, because not just Kenton, I don't know where she's from, if she's from Kenton, or I know McGuffey has a big problem. The smaller villages, you know, it's easy to have a big problem with stray animals, that it's a sign of bigger things happening in the county, not just that the animals are a problem, but that, you know, there's a lot of things that come along with stray animals. And so one of the things which I've heard a lot about is that, you know, when you have somebody who is abusive to animals, that they can be abusive in their homes. And that's part of why you have a humane agent, which Hardin County does not have, or you work with your police department. Wyandotte County works with their police department to address this issue. And that if you are abusive to animals, that you can be abusive to other people in your home, and there's like a 70% correlation to that. And so it's more of just a bigger, like, look at our county and, you know, say, you know, we're kind of going down this path that shows, you know, we need, it's not necessarily the cats, it's that we need to look at what's happening to our county and make that a priority. You know, whoever's responsibility it is, you know, she's asking the commissioners to help her on this endeavor to find out, you know, from a county perspective, how are we going to handle this? And, you know, frankly, they're not interested, right? They told her to talk to the Kenton mayor, you know, to go back to Wyandotte. And so you guys can listen to that whole thing. I've probably gone on too much about it anyways. But it is interesting from a sociology type of perspective, what it means, and then how the commissioners decided to handle that conversation. So anyways, there is a re-roofing project at 1 o'clock for the courthouse that I will go back up and attend, just to keep track of what the courthouse is doing, and that roofing project. So anyways, if there's any major updates, I'll jump back on here. But if not, I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy the last few days of fall. All right, thanks.